Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say a couple of quick things about the BDS Behavior Development Solutions modules that are a part of this course. I want to talk about them a little bit because they're a pretty big portion of the course. And so you're going to get to them by going to bds.com and you're going to go to your learning dashboard. And when you get to your learning dashboard, it's probably going to say you're going to be on this page. Welcome to the CBA Learning Module Series. And this course really is focused on Content Area B. So what we can do is we can go to Units, and then right down here we see Content Area B, Concepts and Principles. We click on there, and we're going to get all of these different areas, B1, B2, B3, etc., all the way through. And each module, each week for the course for SPED 8013 is going to have one or more of these BDS modules associated with them. Okay, and you'll see that for each one of these modules, there are two parts to it. There's an acquisition and there's a fluency. The questions that you're going to get in the acquisition and the fluency are by and large going to be the same. The difference is that in acquisition, it's about you're acquiring the skill and you have almost an unlimited amount of time to do it. You have an hour to do each one. The fluency is once you've mastered the acquisition, it's about being able to generate the responses really quickly. And so you see, like, for example, B1 acquisition, you have an hour. B1 fluency, you have 5 minutes max, right? Because it's really about generating this fluency. We use the BDS modules for a variety of reasons. The biggest one is their success with getting people who complete them ready to be able to take and pass the BCBA exam. Our goal here is for all of you to have the skill set and knowledge and fluency that you need to be able to go in the very first time you take the BCBA exam and to pass it. And these modules are specifically designed to be able to do that. So each course that you're going to encounter in this sequence is going to have an expectation of being able to do these modules to fluency. And it's really about making sure that you're in the best position possible to be able to pass the exam. Okay, so a couple of things about this. So throughout this course, SPED 8013, pretty much every single target under B, right, all the way down to B24, there is going to be an expectation that you have those fluencies to 100%. And that's a requirement to be able to pass the course. You have to be able to have all of the B modules to 100%. And again, the reason why there's that expectation of that to 100% is that you're going to be seeing these modules pop up in every single course. And in the final courses in the sequence, for those of you that are doing the master's program, the requirement's going to come back around that you do every single module to 100% throughout all of the different domains to be able to pass the course. And so right up front here with SPED 8013, it's setting the expectation that you're able to get these up to 100%. It's not going to be easy to do that, okay? But you don't have to do it on your first try. You have unlimited tries for every single one of these modules to get them to 100%, but you do have to get them to 100% to be able to move on. Now you may have seen, if you've gone through some of the primer modules for the BDS, that it gives you a pathway for how to do it, and what it suggests is you do B1 acquisition, B1 part 1 acquisition, then B1 part 2 acquisition, then B2 acquisition, and then you loop back around to B1 part 1 acquisition, B1 part 2 acquisition, B2 acquisition, until you get one of those to mastery. And then once you do, you move on to the fluency. And so you rotate through those three. That's a really wise way of going about targeting these to really master the material. You could, if you wanted to, just hammer B1 Part 1 acquisition until you get it to 100%, then move on to B1 Part 1 fluency and hammer that one until you get it to 100%. But your learning probably won't be as robust as if you cycle through them in more of an interspersal method of doing it. But you can do it in whatever way works for you. But with each course module, there are a certain number of these modules that are tied to it. And the expectation is that by the end of our 7 weeks, you've done all of the B modules, acquisition and fluency, to 100%. And again, to be able to pass the class, you need to have all of these to 100%. If you don't have them to 100%, you'll end up getting an incomplete in the course until you're able to get them to 100%, and you won't be able to move on to other courses in the ABA sequence. And again, that's specifically because if you're not able to get these to 100%, I don't want you to be wasting your time and your money taking other courses moving on. Okay, so we've got to get these to 100%, and then we move on to the next one. So these modules are a big part of the coursework. They're tied to each module that you're going to be doing. So you can knock them off within the course of the 7-week sequence. And then the other thing is that the final exam for this course is the Domain B post-test that you get 100 minutes to take, and it has 50 questions. One thing that I will recommend for you is, if you want, before you take that Domain B post-test, but when you're at the end of the course, there's this Domain B pre-test. You don't have to, and I wouldn't recommend taking this pre-test before you do the modules. Wait on that pre-test and then do the Domain B pre-test almost as a test prep before you do the Domain B post-test. The questions are basically going to be the same. Not in the same order, but they're basically going to be the same questions. So you should be able to, if you're able to do really well on the pre-test, you should feel good that you're going to do really well on the post-test, which is actually the final exam for the question, for the course. The other thing is, if you've done all these modules, acquisition and fluency, to 100%, you should feel really confident that you are going to crush the Domain B post-test, because it's the same questions. Okay, so again, this is not easy, but you have unlimited opportunities with the acquisition and the fluency to get it to 100%, and it is going to set you up really well to be able to take and pass the exam to become a BCBA. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to me. But this just gives you an overview of what is expected in terms of acquisition, fluency, and post-test with the BDS learning modules.